It is fitting that Yosemite Falls have been given the name of the valley, for they surpass all the others in height and splendor. Composed of the upper fall, lower fall, and an intermediate chain of cascades, they have a combined drop of almost half a mile. Upper Yosemite Fall descends in a clear arc-shaped leap, carrying the water away from the cliff face. Lower Yosemite Fall, with a drop of only 320 feet, seems insignificant in comparison. Yet, it is twice as high as Niagara. In winter, spray freezes on the cliff face, a frost-white beard that is slowly shed in the heat of the sun. Every body of water seems to have a character of its own. Mirror Lake, the only lake now on the valley floor, was formed by rock slides that dammed Tenaya Creek some years ago. There is a reverential hush over these reflecting waters. Filling in quickly with silt and sand, the lake will probably disappear within a decade or two. Tenaya Lake, at an elevation of over 8,000 feet above sea level, is the source of Tenaya Creek. It is one of the largest natural lakes in the park, measuring a mile in length and a half-mile in width, and is a favored high country recreation area. be found in Yosemite. The coniferous forest, dominated by large pole pine, extends into the subalpine zone, gradually thinning out near tree line at 11,000 feet. The twisted roots of a dying tree cling tenaciously to eroding life. In the alpine zone, the summits of the Sierra, the wind is constant, cold, and harsh. Dwarfed plants huddle in the crags of desolate rock. Intense solar radiation, wide temperature variations, and scant rainfall challenge the tenacity of life forms in this region. That ancient botanical landmark in Yosemite, the giant sequoia, stands in isolated groves amid attendant white fir and sugar pine. A relic of a pre-glacial genus that once forested much of the northern hemisphere, the trees remain only within the boundaries of 75 groves in the Sierra Nevada. Why the trees are confined to these selected areas is not fully understood. The giant sequoias, largest of all living things, have endured for thousands of years. The Mariposa Grove's grizzly giant is about 2,700 years old and is thought to be the oldest of all sequoias. The age of a tree is determined by counting its annual rings. The oldest giant sequoia known from such a ring count was a dead tree 3,200 years old. Many mature trees bear the scars of lightning strikes and scorching fires. The bark, sometimes as much as 18 inches thick, and the wood are fire-resistant, protecting the tree's life-sustaining wood tissues from excessive heat. The evergreen foliage stands so high above the ground that it is rarely reached by fire. Fire is the most dramatic natural factor affecting the giant sequoias. Reproduction depends heavily upon fire. There is a high probability that without fire, they would not exist today. Birth and the early stages of growth are fragile periods for the tree. A large tree may be expected to contain approximately 7,000 seed-bearing cones at any given time. The average mature tree produces approximately 2,000 new cones each year. Each cone contains about 200 seeds. Over 1 million seeds per acre are produced in a year in most groves. In order to open and shed seeds, the cone must be completely dry. Fire causes hot air to rise and dry the cones. The shower of seeds then falls on the seedbed prepared by the fire. Seeds may be dispersed in other ways, by the activities of a beetle larva or the chicory, a small tree squirrel that feeds on the cones but not the seeds, or cones may be broken off the tree by wind or snow. Seeds require the proper sequence of events and the necessary physical conditions for germination to occur. Shallow burial in a soft, friable mineral soil is required. Sequoia seeds die when exposed to direct sunlight and total drying on the soil's hard surface. Germination may occur on masses of organic debris, but the debris may hold too little moisture to permit continued growth. Seedling survival is more critical than germination. Once they commence their growth, they cannot survive beyond the range of a narrow set of environmental conditions. Full sun is required for seedling growth, but a layer of leaf litter is needed to prevent drying of the soil and death of the root system. Excessive shading by other vegetation or down trees and excessive moisture are also responsible for the death of seedlings. The frailty of the species in these stages is illustrated by John Muir's suggestion: not one seed in 1 million germinates, not one seedling in 10,000 attains maturity. Once established, the tree is highly resistant to insects, fungi, and fire, afflictions common to other species. Death usually comes to the tree by toppling when pushed over by heavy snows or high winds, or when water-saturated soil can no longer support the shallow root system. Naturally occurring fires were not recognized as an important agent in natural systems and were suppressed for more than a century. The National Park Service, seeking to return parklands to the condition that preceded the days of total fire suppression, began an active fire management program in the 1960s. Fire as a management tool in small areas reduces fire hazards and the possibility of crown fires destroying the giant sequoias. Fires are carefully planned and executed. They are set in late spring and after the first rains of fall, when humidity allows the crews to run a carefully contained fire set in selected locations. The fire needs to be hot